Eric and Eric Prime.
That's weird. Oh, is it this one?
Is it real or is it Memorex, Eric?
Oh, somehow I lost the other camera. Weird. Well, I guess I'm not going to be switching right away. Here, how about this one?
Chuck,
Ghostly.
the reference you tossed out for us, I think the appropriate response is old.
Missed you too, Jeff.
Yeah, we did miss you.
Oh, hey, I know we're live, but Marty,
Yes,
thumbs
we
up,
are.
thumbs down on your situation.
Oh, well, I'm not too, it doesn't bother me. Thanks for asking. Well, my daughter's situation is great. She's,
Good.
turned the corner yesterday and, sat down and we had lunch outside together on the deck. However, this morning I woke up with elevated heart rate.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
no.
And that would not go away. So instead of it going away, it decided to go into AFib around
Oh,
9 o'clock
geez.
this morning.
Oh,
And I spent the whole day in AFib. Called the cardiologist, gave them the information. The Apple Watch, took all the stuff that it needed to get from me to send to them. Even did ECG strips that I could send. And they said, this is what your life's going to be like until you get the ablation. And I'm getting some ablation work done on the 23rd of September,
Oh, good.
which is a Tuesday. So I still hope to make it to Mac Voices Live. I'm hoping for an early appointment.
Oh, he's such dedication.
It's very
If you
dedicated.
can actually show up for Mac Voices Live
That would be
day,
a feat.
well, first, it would be amazing. But second, I would hope that you're still at least partially under the effects of the anesthesia.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can have stoned Marty on the show.
Well, it'll also mean I won't have to take any bathroom breaks because, I'll just be blocked up anyways because of the anesthesia. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well,
so
there-
yeah, that was my day today.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're here because usually the AFib is just so exhausting.
Yeah.
So glad you made
Well, yeah, I'd like to think it's that I hate my job, but it probably has something to do with the AFib.
I shouldn't laugh.
Unfortunately, damn it, I'd rather just hate my job.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, it
Marty, if you
does.
need someone to go to your doctor's appointment to be a very stern advocate for you, I've got so much experience now. Just bring me in and I'll start flipping tables for you.
I have some really good doctors. I got to tell you that. They are on top of it. I saw the ablation specialist on Monday and was sitting in his office and getting a little angry because I sat in a waiting room. Well, sat in one of those exam rooms for an hour before anybody came in.
Oh, not cool.
And he came in and he said, they did a strip on me. And he came in and said, well, you'd be interested to know you're in AFib right now. It's like, what? And he's like, yeah. So let's get I didn't have to prove to him the need for the procedure. So that was the best part.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, that's looking on the bright side of things. Good for you.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's news around here. Tomorrow, I'm going to watch a movie.
All right.
That
Hey,
sounds
Brian's
great.
in the chat. How you doing, Brian? Glad you're here. Appreciate it. You can.
So, Marty, after the procedure, do you have chamfered edges?
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't get the.
That's a Johnny Ive reference. He
Oh.
got all hot and bothered about chamfered edges on iPhones years ago.
No, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find
Apparently your
out.
resale value will be higher if you have chamfered edges.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there was a whole series of text messages with a coworker today where she said, well, maybe there's a reason. Maybe you can move up the procedure, like somebody will cancel. And I said, the only reason somebody cancels an ablation is not a good reason.
No, it's a very permanent reason.
Right.
And
Oh,
and so
gosh.
she said, no. Let's let Dave have his show back.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
okay.
we're doing a
Let's get.
show? Is it?
Yeah, that thing I call a show. Yeah.
What?
All right, let's get started. I think I got everything going. Do I sound okay? Because I'm not happy I'm on this mic, but best I can do here tonight.
Have you tried the mic in your laptop?
I am using the mic on my laptop.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've got the air on. If I turn it off, I'll die in here. So I'll just
Yeah, well, we don't want you to
I'll put
die.
up.
That makes sense.
I'll put up with it. It's very very humid here tonight. So
Yeah, but
Hmm.
Dave,
But if-
we don't hear that.
No,
You
we
don't?
don't hear it
Okay.
at all.
Not
Okay,
even
good.
close.
Just probably
No.
because
Yeah.
he's using the laptop
I've
mic.
turned ducking on the on audio hijack, so when it's recording my voice, so but I hope it's not recording my voice on Zoom. It might be. When I think about it. Oh shit! You
Hmm.
hear me twice.
No, we're not hearing that.
We hear you once.
No, you heard me once, but I'm recording Zoom on audio hijack, so it's probably going to be recording my voice too. I would think.
You can
No, because I separated the channel because I have the mic
Okay.
pointing to me only.
My brother says you sound good.
Oh yeah, you're going to sound good live, but just I'm worried about the recording afterwards. But
Oh,
if I
yeah.
have to use if I have to use all Zoom, I'll use all Zoom. I'm not going to monkey with it. All right, we'll do it. Here we go.
wait before you
360.
start.
Mhm.
Chuck, underpants.
Yes.
Underpants. We took care of that for you Tuesday. Don't worry.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Dave, you know what? I mean, you can always download the YouTube recording and strip the audio out from that and sync it up.
True.
So
All right, I'll figure it out.
yeah, fix it in
I don't
post.
want. Yeah, I don't want to hold this up. Yep.
Yeah, Dave,
All right.
have Chuck fix it in post.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
cheap.
Yes. All right, here we go. I'm just going to double check everything is running. That looks good. Let's look at this again. Check. No, when I talk, it doesn't recording Zoom, so I might be right.
The check
deal.
just bounced.
Ah,
Did it bounce? Oh yeah. No, you
Sorry.
got me.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Sorry.
All right. Zoom recording. It is. Let's make sure. Yep, we're good. All right. When you're in an alternate location, it gets hard to figure out. All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 369 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. And I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. Before I introduce my panel, I just want to make sure everybody's aware I am out of town, but with my dedication, I wanted to make sure we had a show. So I am talking to you from Saratoga Springs, New York. I'm enjoying a great time with my friends, as well as playing a little bit of the races at the Saratoga racetrack, which is an absolutely beautiful place. Drinking my Saratoga water, as everybody has here. You got to have your Saratoga water, and so everybody can get a laugh at that as I introduce you guys. And but it's all great for you guys to be here. So, but with that, let's go ahead and introduce the panel this week. Jeff Garrett is here, and he was here early. Glad you're here, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, and I want you to know I am the real Jeff Gamet, even though I was
Yes.
here early.
mm.
Yes, this is true. This is true. And Jill McKinley, as we probably announced, you are one of our regular contributors. I'm so glad to have you each week as you are able to be here. And thanks for being here. How you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me. And it's a real honor to be among this distinguished crowd that I
Yes.
know and love so well and got to see last week. So I'm
Actually, almost 2 weeks now. I think it is. I can't believe it already.
Yep, 2 weeks.
How
This time
dare
has just
you
flown by
refer
already.
to how dare you refer to us as distinguished?
Mm.
And also, Chuck joining us here. I'm glad you were able to make it. You were having some late times there at work, but I appreciate you being here. How you doing, Chuck?
Thank you, Dave. I do want to know though, everybody on the podcast that believes that there's water in that bottle, raise your hands.
I just drank it. See?
I got
Oh,
it.
Jill,
drinking
you're
it
so
now.
nice.
Yeah, you guys.
Dave,
got a
you're
bridge I
drinking
wanna sell you.
your
Yeah,
Saratoga
it says
water.
natural spring water.
Sure
So
does.
this is Boulder water.
Mm.
And for those of you that are like, I don't get it. It's a Nalgene bottle. Pretty much everyone just walks around with a Nalgene bottle in their
Yeah,
hand
why
all the
not?
time.
Right.
Why
right,
not? Also here, I'm glad you're feeling better, Marty. It's Marty Gencius. How you doing, Marty?
It's been a strange couple of days with illness in the family and trying to deal with it, but this
Yeah.
is sort of my safe space. So I'm glad to be here
Yes.
with this group.
Absolutely thrilled, guys. And we were running a little late today because I had to have a little bit of dinner before I came on to do the podcast. So I'm being very open and admitting everything, so everybody's aware why we're a little late tonight. But last but certainly not least, he's in some cavern. Oh no, maybe that's a persona. It's Eric Bolden and his Vision Pro. How you know?
Hello.
Whoa! And of course, when he covers his mouth, you know because it blocks it out.
Eric Bolden joining us straight from Uncanny Valley.
Someone had to do it, so I volunteered today.
Yep.
I mean,
I
maybe
remember
not
when
next
Eric
week.
was real. Those were good days.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got our usual things to talk about this week. In touch with Vision Pro. The beta this week's been pretty active. We'll talk about that a little bit. Marty's going to have a great discussion about the Apple Care One plan. I'm still learning about because being on vacation is hard to stay up on the news, but we got some good stuff this week. As well as In Touch with Mac and lots of news. But let's go ahead and get started with In Touch with Vision Pro. Apple did release the developer beta of Beta 4 of Vision Pro on Vision OS 26. It's been 2 weeks after the third developer beta was released, and which since announced. What's new? It's saying it's bringing spatial widgets and a much improved persona features and supporting 180-degree and 360-degree videos from action cams like the Insta360 and GoPro, as well as the PSVR2 controllers. It did introduce the Jupyter immersive environment, as well as support from Muse, a new stylus-like accessory from Logitech. And I'm now finding this out, and I can't wait to find out. Marty, did you already install it on your Vision Pro? And how is the Jupyter immersive? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I installed it. I haven't jumped to Jupiter, but
No?
to look at it. No, it's just been a busy couple of days. I
Yeah, same
did.
here. So I don't
Yeah,
have it
I
with me.
did. Yeah, I did put out a Pro Notes short podcast on it, and looked at the
Okay.
difference between Beta 3 and Beta 4.
Okay.
And basically smoother system performance. It's funny because that's a standard joke. It's a little snappier, it's a little cleaner, but people in Reddit were reporting it's smoother, and that's what Apple is saying is something that happens with it. Better visual transitions. We know about the persistent layouts, the fact that you can place objects in apps in rooms and when they disappear. And then they're working more with the eye, the foveation and looking at different objects and making sure that those become clear. So that is better in this version. For developers, persistent API, place it once, it always stays there.
Mhm.
And then also eye tracking is better with this. So visuals that adapt to you is what developers will get out of this shift from the beta 3 to the beta 4.
Okay. Eric, you've been doing so much changing with your persona. I bet you did get to see Jupiter.
I see no sign of Jupiter. So
No?
if it's in here, I don't know where it is, or if they're just mentioning it because it was discussed at developer conference, and so they mentioned it each time.
Okay.
So I haven't seen it. But
Interesting.
however, the persona did get more solid. Like
Okay.
earlier this week, if I moved my hand in, it was kind of ghosty. Now I almost feel like I could pick something up. So far each build, you pretty much had to redo the persona. So they've been tweaking it.
Okay. All right. So
He's sort of like back to the future, Eric, except he's beginning to dissolve instead of beginning to become solid.
Well, and I think that the glasses are different now.
They're definitely different.
Yeah.
yeah, because you were saying they weren't looking like your glasses before.
Yeah.
Right?
Now they're pretty close.
Oh my God, how close that is! For those that are listening, he zoomed right onto his face, and we're looking at his glasses that are in his persona.
Tilt your head back and let's look up your nostril, Eric. Let's look up your virtual nostril.
Say
This is
ah.
scary.
Say ah.
Those who should be watching the watching the video, watch back on youtube.com/InTouchWS. We'll leave that up here so you can see it. It's
No, you shouldn't,
pretty.
folks. No, you
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 shouldn't see it
shouldn't.
though.
interesting.
It is kind of freaky.
It is. Eric, it's interesting that your glasses are sharper and seem to have
Yeah.
more realistic details than your head.
Oh, wait a minute. My glasses are more real than me.
Yeah, it looks
Well,
like it a little
I
bit.
was
Then-
thinking they
oh,
kind of had
no!
gotten the hair down
Oh!
because it's got little bits like
Hang on,
my,
everybody.
my eyebrows are a little bit fuzzier, whatever.
Hey, Eric,
Slanted.
can you repeat
let me back
after?
off.
Will you repeat after me? Go ahead, zoom in really close, and then repeat after me.
I'll never do this again because it's a bad idea.
All right. I am the great and powerful Oz.
Oz.
Yeah, but I need a flames in the background and an echo.
Dave
We
Lev
can
is
make
in
that
post.
happen.
Future episode. I'm not that good yet.
Oh gosh. All right, let's move on. Other article I had in here, and we talked about this on Vision Profiles, but I wanted to hit on a little bit more here. Is Apple Magazine had a great article a week or two ago about setting up your Apple Vision Pro as a seamless start to spatial computing. And you can go through the article. We've got the link in the show notes. A couple things of note I wanted to hit on was the fitting of it. When you try to fit this headset for comfort, they have the optical inserts, and I believe neither of you, Marty or Eric, use the optical. You have those special ones. You didn't buy the actual ones that Apple provides, right, Eric?
Oh yeah, no, I have those too. I
Oh, you do
got
have
the
those.
other set because I was hoping that I could use them for people that were borrowing.
Oh, right. Then you told me that.
Yeah.
So those tend to work out pretty good for you, right? It's for those who do wear glasses and
Yeah.
can't use it without them.
Excellent. Yeah.
So you do have to have them all the time, right? Because of your
Yes.
sight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I-
I wear readers, but when I take them off, I don't have a problem because it's magnified enough in my sight that I don't have any issues with that. But that's what's great about the Vision Pro is being able to have those in place. Another thing I mentioned was the actual pad that goes around it. I actually ended up buying two extra ones, and it actually fits a little better. And I haven't even had the thing for we had it maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and I don't wear it that much that it would wear up. But when I was doing the demos in MaxStack, we talked about it kept coming off all the time every time I switched out. So, but it seems to be working better with that. So, but this does go through some great things when it comes to the uh, how you explore the Vision Pro, why it matters, and yeah, I should have took it on a trip, but I just with everything else I'm lugging around me, I was like, I was tempted, but I was like, I better. I got enough that I'm carrying with me so that I didn't do it. Anything you want to add, Marty? As far as I know, we talked about
Yeah.
this, and if you had some ideas with how this really laid out, what to experience when you set up a Vision Pro.
This is a good article. I wish Apple would have produced something like this
Yeah.
earlier on for folks, but it is a good review for folks who have a Vision Pro or folks like Chuck who will be getting a Vision Pro soon. That gets to the setup. Regarding the inserts, I wear contacts and glasses. So I wear readers when I'm up close, and then contacts will do distance vision for me. So I have, when I have my contacts in, I don't put in inserts. When I have my contacts out, I do have reader inserts that I put into the Vision Pro. But it's so often I have my contacts in that I forget that I need to put the inserts, or that I ever use the inserts. But I do on occasion, late at night when I want to watch a movie and my eyes are tired.
Yeah. So, anybody add anything else to this? I don't think I have much else. None of you have Vision Pros, but always welcome some comments if you want.
Glad to
All
see
right.
it progress. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. So that's it about Vision Pro this week. Let's talk a little bit about beta. But before we get to beta, iOS 18.6 release candidate was released out in beta. But I mean, that's the other beta, I guess you could call it. As the launch is getting very close. As I said, when it's an RC, it's release candidate. That means launch is imminent. And it was a beta for developers and the public betas at the same time. And that's covering all of the iOS, iPadOS, macOS, speaking of macOS, Sequoia 15.6, tvOS 18.6, watchOS 11.6, our fun little HomePod 18.6, and then Vision Pro, which 2.6 was also for just developers only. And they've been preparing this at all. There really isn't much else in here other than the fact that there's some EU related changes that had to come. Hard to say when that'll get released, and if it'll ever get released in the US. I don't know. There's much else to say about this and relates to 18.6. I don't think anybody's on that, so there's probably not much else to say about it. Other than to be aware that potentially is coming very shortly here.
It was
Then
released today, Dave.
oh, it was released today. Oh, thank you.
Yep. Yep.
But so I tried to install it and then it didn't come up. So I am on 18.5 on my phone. Thank you for correcting me on that. Um, it it didn't come up. Let me see. Maybe it's going to come up now. Yeah, I'm not. It still says 18.5. So maybe it's not for everybody. It might be just EU, which is very possible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's probably the case. So so we can move on from that. But thank you for putting that and highlighting that for me. iPad OS Beta 4 is also out, available in iPad OS. Let's move on to the latest the beta. It had some latest iPad changes. I've been using my iPad here in Saratoga. It's been absolutely great to have, and I'm so glad I'm running the beta because I was able to with a program and be able to watch the shows and make some bets and had four screens on. It was so awesome to be able to do that. And some of the things that that it's showing that has added that they have just not. I mean, there really isn't saying much. There isn't really saying much to what else that they've got. I don't. Have you, Marty, or I don't know if Eric has it on his iPad. Did you get see anything
Yeah.
on the iPad? Go ahead, Eric.
It does seem to be getting a little more stable.
Mhm.
Each revision, I have fewer weird crashes, fewer times where I'm in the middle of doing something and then all of a sudden I'm waiting for it to come back. So I'm assuming that's partly to get ready for the public beta.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a second because which that is out. But iOS 26 beta 4 is also out for the iPhone. Not much else there other than it's probably the next version, so it matches up more or less with the public beta. So, like I said, public beta was released today, this week, and for all devices, iPad OS, tvOS, watchOS, and macOS, I believe as well. And again, we tell people do not update. A lot of people have been warning, a lot through the press have been saying, yeah, do not update this first public beta. I don't think it's a very good idea. You
I
should
would
wait,
agree.
especially with if it's your primary device. As you heard me, I'm not running. I was more brave with the iPad for my primary iPad, only because I really wanted to try out the multi screens, and I'm loving it.
yeah.
It's still taking get a little getting used to because you're so used to swiping up and moving windows around and changing. You can't do that anymore. I'm still used to trying to get used to the Mac OS icons to open up and close the windows and get to the menu and all that. So it's still taking some time to get used to that. But
Dave, I have a
that's
question
the only way I
about.
braved it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you're running the current developer beta, right?
Yeah. Mhm. On
Are
my primary iPad, yes.
on your primary iPad. Okay, so it's
Mhm.
on my iPad Mini.
Yeah.
I'm still having issues with the window buttons when I have multiple windows open. Getting
Are
those
you?
window buttons to actually function.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so I'm curious if you're having an issue.
No,
Uh,
I was able to, other than getting used to navigating through them, I was having a little challenge just, because you want to tap and hold it to be, because I wanted to, it automatically bring the four squares of the four different windows I have open.
right.
Or if I want one and one next to each other, that's what's so great about it. It does it automatically, as well as being able to grab the little C at on the backward C at the bottom right corner and drag it up or down and resize it the way you'd like. But no, I wasn't having. It might be maybe it's a Mac Mini thing. I don't know.
Could
I
be.
You
had it get
know,
stuck
The
once.
resizing is fine. It's just when I go to use the window controls, the red, yellow, green buttons, the
Mhm.
stoplight buttons,
yeah.
Mhm.
when I tap there so that expands so you can
Mhm.
actually use the buttons, a lot of the times it just doesn't.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I had it
The-
get stuck once, but only once. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's an
the
I
iPad
know
mini
I forgot
thing.
you're on the Jill.
Oh
Go
no,
ahead, Jill.
I just had it get stuck once, but so far the windows have moved around, and then also enlarging it so that I can use the buttons has worked, but it did get stuck a couple of times for me. And I just closed the app and opened it back up and it was fine, but yeah, I've had it happen.
Okay. I'm actually updating the iPad right now. It wasn't updated ever to how about that? Live install of beta 4 as I talk here.
What
You
could
know,
possibly
So
go
Jeff,
wrong? Hmm.
yeah.
I have a mini. It's probably the iPad I use the most because it sits
Mhm.
down. It sits in our living room, and that's where I read media in the morning. And I have noticed running the beta, I've noticed that there's been some wonkiness with the window resizing and
Yeah.
trying to get it back to full, and also using the little squares to close out of it too.
Mm.
So
Okay,
I
so
kind of have
maybe
to
it's
jump
it's a
and close
mini
it.
thing.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, that could be.
I can tell you guys how to fix all these problems.
Yeah.
Don't install the
Yeah,
betas.
Oh,
yeah,
I
Oh,
well,
thought the answer was Chuck buys us Vision Pros.
No,
Pros.
just
Yeah.
just don't
I have to
install the
say,
betas, and then you don't have these
yeah,
problems.
I
I
installed the
don't.
I have
beta on my
only one I have
MacBook.
is my one iPad. That's I'm happy. And if I have to if I have to redo it, fine. I'm okay with the iPad. The phone, that's a whole nother story. iPhone, nah. But I have my backup iPhone 16e. I got to update that one too. So
Joe,
No,
you're
I did.
about to scare us, aren't you?
Yeah,
yeah,
I
go
did
ahead.
it on my iPad Pro, on my MacBook Air, on my iPhone, which is my primary device, and it has been exceptional. In fact, I have more bugs, I think, with the older Mac OS than I've had with the newer
Wow.
one. And so I have to say, don't do it. Don't listen to me. Don't put your production machine out there, but it has been
Yeah.
stellar.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
this
running it on
this
everything except one Mac Mini, and that's
okay.
going to be my fallback if everything blows up. But
Right.
Chuck,
Yep.
I do not see them as problems. I see them as challenges to overcome.
And be ready
Uh,
for the later new
Growth
version.
opportunities.
yeah.
Yes.
You don't have enough. Listen, if you don't have enough challenges, I'm happy to send some your way.
No, I don't live I don't live
Yeah.
that problem-free life that you have, Chuck.
Yeah.
No, that's my aspiration, Marty. To be clear, that's
Yeah.
kind of my point. I've got more than enough problems to overcome to satisfy my need to overcome problems.
Yeah. All right. Let's real quick, I'll talk about the public beta. Again, it is out. You can sign up for the public beta. There's no charge. You can go down and download it. Again, I would not recommend doing this. And we've already talked about all the things that it has. Most of what's in the public beta is not all of it. What developer beta has will be in the public beta, but tread lightly. Like I keep saying, don't install it on your primary device if you really want to mess up, especially your iPhone. Everybody lives on their iPhones. I would not recommend putting the public beta on right at this time. It's still the very first public beta. That's why they delay it until it's released, because they announced developer betas in June, and now we're at the end of July, and then they've now released it for public beta. So I see Marty shaking his head. You saying brave it?
Yeah. I mean, we're sitting here talking about we're on the developer beta and not having any problem. And you're saying, don't
Yeah.
load the public beta. Don't load the public
Well,
beta.
it's people, they're not like us. A lot of people are not going to be like us that are
Okay,
crazy enough
so
to do it.
you're at a racetrack these last couple of days, so
I
you're
am
not used
horse
to
racing,
betting on.
yes. Mhm. Yeah, that's why I gamble. I haven't placed anything on a bet anything on a horse in probably a year and a half. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So, all right,
I love it.
let's yeah, me too. All right, so we'll move on and talk about quickly with tvOS is out. Beta 4 has been released to Apple users. There is a new feature in tvOS 26 that making AirPlay speakers better than ever. I'm almost tempted to put that on my Apple TV because I always have trouble getting AirPlay to work, especially on my HomePods. Uh, to see if they're doing some improvements on the tvOS. WatchOS, the release hasn't been much to talk about when it comes to that. Public betas are released on both those devices as well. And we go back to iOS a little bit here. Some of the beta changes. Marty, Jill, we'll go with you. Did you notice anything different on the iPhone?
No, not really. I tried to look for something that seemed different or seemed more stable, and everything seems pretty much the same. I'm not much of a
Mhm.
liquid glass connoisseur, you
Yeah.
know. I see it, but if they change something with it, I did not notice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. I know we can pop out of beta here unless I've got anything else to cover here. Uh, uh a couple other things of the setting up a custom ringtone in seconds now. You can do that in iOS 26. Uh, very simple to do, and you can do you can go open the Files app and long press an MP3 or M4A audio file that you have less than 30 seconds long. Tap share and scroll down to the additional actions, and you can use it as a ringtone. So they really put it as a really easy way to do it. You remember how complicated it was to
Finally.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, how complicated it was to do a ringtone. I mean, oh my
yeah.
God, you guys jumped through hoops to get it to do it because Apple didn't want you to do it. Well, now they welcome it.
I
So
have
we're
this
starting to see that.
collection of 80s
Okay.
television shows, music, and video games that I made into ringtones 2 decades ago that I can now make use of.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
playing a long game right there.
I know, I've been waiting for this day. Been waiting.
And then they did improve some stuff in messages. There was an annoying message problem. You know, when you would tap and hold on any message bubble, and a new select option now appears alongside the familiar copy and reaction choices. Finally, resolving one of the message's most persistent frustrations. The select feature allows you to
Finally.
highlight specific portions of the text within the message as opposed to copying the entire message. They simply tap and hold on any message bubble, choose select, and the contextual menu. And then you drag the handles and highlight exactly what text you need. It will work across all message types, including text messages and iMessages. The new select text feature should come in handy with the range of scenarios. A good example is sharing a lengthy message containing multiple pieces of information, like an address, a phone number, a restaurant recommendation, and you can kind of just highlight it and select it and then bring it over. So big improvement. So they are looking at some improvements here on messages, which I'm very pleased about.
I need to
And then the other thing
experiment
with
with that.
yeah, me too. I want to
Yeah,
try it on my 16E.
yeah. Okay. Here's why I want to try it. I mean, first, the fact that we couldn't select part of a message years ago is absolutely ridiculous. But then the second thing is, I want to see if selecting is improved in general, because
Yep.
that has always been a very weak part
Question.
of iOS and iPadOS.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat at youtube.com/in touch with iOS. We have Brian F in the chat. How you doing, Brian? We're so glad you're here. Joe's brother, Wither Bucket, is in the chat. He's been very active. Thanks for being here. And Guy Searle, he's back out there. Thanks for being here, Guy. We miss you. I'm glad you're in the chat joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. That's In touch with iOS here you at youtube.com/in touch with iOS. I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. So let's go on. And one more thing I wanted to mention is about the watch gesture feature. If we did talk about this, and some of the Apple Watch models is going to gain a new wrist flick feature, got a gesture in watchOS 26 that allows a user to dismiss notifications and return their watch face with a simple wrist movement. The gesture works by turning your wrist over and back using the accelerometer and the gyroscope to detect the motion. And with that gesture, you can dismiss incoming notifications, mute calls, silence alarms and alerts, and return the watch to the watch face without needing to use your other hand. So when wrist flick joins existing double tap gesture as another one of the control options for the Apple Watch users. Feature can be toggled on in settings, gestures, and wrist flick. The one thing is it's only going to be available on the newer Apple Watch models. So if you have anything older than a Series 9, I still have a Series 9, then you are out of luck with this feature. And of course, a Series 10 is going to be used as well as the Apple Watch Ultra 2 that will support this feature. And Apple doesn't say exactly why these older models doesn't support the feature, despite having the same sensors, but it does have a new machine learning model suggesting that only the newer chips found in these recent Apple Watch models are powerful enough to handle it. So I would go under that assumption that's in there. So I don't know if anybody's tried
Or
that on their watch.
just hear me out.
Absolutely. Go
Once
for it.
again, they're creating an artificial distinction between models.
Mm.
Well, at least I've got the 9 still. They didn't change that
Yeah,
one. I
but
might hold it for another year. Who knows? Because of the,
keep
because
holding on
because
to it
the
because you have
oxygen
all the
sensor.
features.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the oxygen
that's
sensor.
why I
Yeah,
never updated from my 8. I don't want to
yeah,
give up the sensors.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything to that? All right. Let's move on and go on to Touch with Mac this week. A couple things. One thing here, Apple did seed the 4th beta of Mac OS Tahoe to developers, and this is for testing purposes. You can download it now. It does feature, of course, we know the liquid glass redesign, and I'm very tempted to put it on this MacBook Air I use because this is my secondary Mac that I travel with. Because I'm finding that I want to get used to it quicker because I'm always behind when I don't have the betas on. So then when I have to be ready, I want to do some training and show people, and I think that's where I'm glad I have extra devices to do this on. So anybody that's on beta for Tahoe, you said Jill, it's working really well for you.
Yeah, I think I installed it last night and I played with it today, and everything seems great. Yeah.
Anybody else
Yeah.
want to add anything to that? All right. And let's go on. And Jill, I'm going to bring this to a segment that we've had from time to time, In Touch with AI. Jill
Mm.
has created
Mm.
an amazing ChatGPT shortcut that aggregates Apple News. She called it Apple News Scout. You shared that with me today, and I was like, wait, we got to talk about this on the show. So tell us, what did you do? And can you share it with everybody? We'd love to share it to our listeners too,
Oh
and
yeah.
viewers.
I think I ended up sharing it to everyone, but if not, I will, and then I'll give you the link that you can do it. But
Yeah.
essentially, I thought there's a lot of news out there that I read on a weekly basis, and some of them are the
Mhm.
sources that you tend to read, and some of them are some other ones as well. And I am into GPTs now. I am creating GPTs left and right all over for
Love it.
everything, and so
Yeah.
it's my new go-to thing. But the idea is that you can see what is just new, and rumor mill. So I asked it to distinguish between something that comes from a reliable source and something that seems to be rumor mill or a leak, and
Okay.
let us know. So yeah, that-
Yeah, share that with. Make sure we we put a
yeah,
link in our show notes here so we can have that for everybody.
yeah.
And we'd love to see how you created it too, because that'll be interesting to see if you have any tips on that, and so how people can create these things as well
Oh
wouldn't be
yeah.
a bad idea. Anybody have anything to add about that? And questions? I think this is great. I mean, Marty, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there are sources, there are like FeedSpot and other sources, but you have to wade through
Yeah.
a lot of the rumor stuff or a lot of the redone
Yeah.
articles or articles that have been stripped from other sources and redone on these websites and these kind of
Mhm.
news media magazine stuff. So
Yeah.
very valuable in
Yeah.
terms of doing that.
I did
So
this
yeah, thanks
during
for.
Yeah. I did this during lunch, and so it was very quick. But my thought is that I would like to put in some canned news sites that I know you like to go to, that I like to go to, and then we can
Yeah.
actually list them out and say, please prioritize these first. So right now
Yeah.
it's very generic, but I think we can make it better.
Well,
That's
I think
super
she's going
cool.
to be on the task to help us make sure we even have more great information that we use for this show. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you doing that. And I think everybody else is going to as well. Anybody else want to add anything to that? All right. Uh, so let's go on and move on. Another topic, Marty, I'm so glad you brought this to my attention. I saw it pop through these last couple of days and I haven't had zero time to really look at it. I started poking around with it earlier today. I said, I better not do anything while I'm away from home to do this. But Apple did announced today Apple Care One. It's a new streamlined coverage into a single plan. And they say, of course, we're reading it from the Apple's new news release that it's an incredible value for a single plan. So basically, what it is, you can they unveiled Apple Care One, which is a new way to for customers to cover multiple Apple products with one simple plan. So for just $19.99 a month, customers can protect up to 3 products in one plan with an option to add more at any time for another additional $6 or $5.99 a month for each device with the Apple Care One. Seems like this sounds familiar here, like the Apple One
Apple
bundle.
One. Yep.
Yeah, so I think this is great. So it's just started today as we record this on the 24th of July. Um, and they went through and talked about all the ways that it covers. And it does include already owned eligible devices, which kind of makes me kind of question, do I really want to upgrade it? Because I definitely won't do it to my iPhone because I trade it in every year. So there's no point because I have to include the Apple one, Apple Care with it anyway. But they may change it with when we trade in this time. We may go to this plan. It's very possible, but depending on how they want to bill it. Yeah, Marty, why don't you share with us what your experience was so far with this?
Well, I saw it coming yesterday, talked a little bit about it last night on Old Mac Gang, and
Okay.
then got up this morning and got up ungodly early, even in Appleverse this morning, and attempted to go in. It's like, oh, good, it's the day I can do it. And the first time I tried to do it, it says, oh, there's an error here. And I
Yeah,
figure,
me
well, it's
too.
maybe even too early for Appleverse.
Yeah.
And forgot about it for the day, went back in later in the afternoon, and first thing I added was my Vision Pro because that's a $25 a month charge. And
Right.
I didn't believe they would do Vision Pro, frankly. I thought they would
They
just
do.
set that thing aside, but they do. So right there, $5 off the cost of what I'm paying in terms of Apple Care. I generally do Apple Care on stuff. And for
Yeah.
me, it's like that totem that prevents bad things from happening to my equipment. I never
Right.
drop them. I never lose them. They never get stolen. So call it insurance, whatever you want to call. So I did that with Vision Pro, and then I had to find two other devices. So, of course, I looked at the ones that were creating the most expense for me on a monthly basis and added in my iPhone Pro Max, which is
Mhm.
$13.99 a month. And so add that in. And then I added in, I think it might have been my 13-inch iPad Pro M4, which is $8.49 a month. So all of that then gets paid for $20 a month.
Mhm.
Then I started looking at adding other devices. And if you look at the cost of adding some devices, it's only the monthly fee is like $3.99. So why
Mhm.
would I add that device for $5.99? When I finished adding in the devices that I had, which included the iPhone 16e, which is $9.99 a month,
Mhm.
it included my 15-inch MacBook Air, which is $7.99 a month. So I'm saving a couple of bucks off that. And my
Mhm.
13-inch MacBook Air M4, which is $6.99 a month. So I'm saving a buck off of that. Once I added those things in, if I added up the cost of what I was spending on Apple Care, now please do not shame me. Prior to this experience, I was paying about 90 bucks a month for Apple Care across all the
Mhm.
devices that I own.
I'm not going
Um,
to shame you
yeah,
because even at that 90 bucks a month, it's still smart because
Yeah.
anything that has a display on it needs Apple
yeah.
Care. If it's a
Right.
portable device, it needs Apple Care. And so even at 90 bucks a month, it was still worth it because the first time you crack a screen,
Yeah.
you've paid for your whole thing.
Well, here's the thing. At 90 bucks a month, if I was doing it on Apple Care Plus, then I looked at the cost because as you add in addition, the first three items they say you're going to get charged 19.99. Then as you add in another item, they're like, oh well, now your monthly charge is going to be this and your monthly charge is going to be that. My monthly charge on Apple Care One was $53. So the difference between
That's
90 and
significant.
$53 a month in terms of
Mhm.
cost savings. Then, I started hearing all these stories about people who were getting refunds, and I'm like, well, where's my refund? And it was in the junk mail.
Oh,
So
Oh.
when I
Mm.
went to junk mail to clear out my junk mail, there were the three returns or uh, pay, cash back that I was getting on some of the contracts that I had. So I had cash back for 72 bucks,
Mhm.
186 bucks, and 140 bucks. So
Wow.
Nice.
I had a
Wow.
total cash back of around, well, 398 bucks.
Mm.
Okay. Chuck,
So
let me bring you.
it's
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it's
Finish.
yeah. So that's what I say. Really take a look at it. Take a look at the devices. I think it's good for people who have multiple devices. It's better the more devices that you have. You're going to save more on it if you're using Apple Care. If you are a person who has a couple of devices and none of them are on Apple Care, or you have three and none of them are on Apple Care, this becomes a really sweet deal for you. And I think it's going to
Okay.
entice new people in for that purpose.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm getting some of my investment back on this.
Okay. Chuck, I want to bring you in on this conversation. We have to get you in here. What do you are you? You're an Apple carrier. You buy it for most things. So what do you think of this?
I buy Apple Care for the portable devices, Dave. You know,
Yeah.
because I agree with Jeff's sentiments, but I feel like my desktop Macs, I'm not quite as worried about. I have a reputation, as you all know, for wanting to put films on everything and cases on
Yeah.
everything to try to protect them. I
Sure.
have not had a chance to look at this, price it out, because I
Yeah.
saw it go by in the news yesterday, and then
Yeah.
today just blew up. Um,
Yeah.
so, being the insurance individual that I am, I want to go through and see what exactly the terms are. Because we in our industry we have a saying: read the policy. That applies
Right.
to every
Everything.
insurance product you buy. And so I want to see exactly what's covered. But from everything that I've seen, without my personal evaluation, this looks like a heck of a deal. I
It
mean,
does.
especially if you have devices that you're moving around or you know take with you frequently. And again, to Jeff's point, ones with screens, absolutely. But if you're one of those people that packs up a mini and carries it from display to display, that too could be a deal. So I'm kind of anxious to see what, if I feed the devices I would want to protect in, what kind of dollar numbers it gives me. I love the idea, Marty. That really speaks highly, I think, of Apple to say that they're giving you a refund on things.
Yeah. Which they always
Yeah.
do. Like when we trade in our iPhones, I always get a refund back on my the Apple Care on it because
Yeah.
it's only covered because it's supposed to cover for 2 full years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trading in, give me my money back.
A couple of things that I noticed about the process. One is, Chuck, I'm sorry to break the news. You can only use one Vision Pro headset in your account. So
Oh
when you get
no.
two, you're not going to be able to put them on. That's one thing. And it was some interesting chatter about people who go in and buy one for each of their family members. And that's not the world I live in. But the other thing that I noticed was and I think this might be kind of a personnel or a time person power saving because you then get on your first of all I did my Vision Pro on my Mac and that seemed easy, and then I couldn't figure out how to add other devices through this store, and so I went to my phone, which I think I read somewhere, do the rest of them on your phone, and it was so easy to add other devices to it, and it all falls under Apple Care One. So you have this list of devices that are under
Right.
Apple Care One, which also means it's easy to take them out. Versus when we had to call them and say, yeah, I still have another year left on my contract. Can you give me some reimbursement for this? Blah, blah, blah. And I want to switch this out for that. That can all be done by the customer in a fairly
At the
easy
app.
way, which I think it saves them a ton
Yeah.
of craziness in terms of
Overhead.
support.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I had
Yeah. And,
a horror
and,
story. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Jill. Sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, when I bought my first, so I bought Allison's MacBook first used, and then I bought my own MacBook Pro. And I have never dropped a device in my entire life. Decades, whatever, 40 years of owning a computer. I've never broken anything, a phone, anything. And about a week in, I dropped it and on concrete. And luckily, it
Oh,
only damaged the side of the edge. And so I brought it in, and the guy advised, well, why don't you wait till the very end of the Apple? It's the only time I ever in my life also bought the insurance. And he says, wait till the end in case you drop it again. And I never did. They repaired it. They said it cost $1,700 to fix this because it damaged the screen. And they doubled the trade-in value for the MacBook
Mm.
Air or the MacBook
Oh,
Pro when I was thinking about trading it in. So it was a dream. So if you don't
yeah.
do
No,
it, it's
Apple's been great.
worthwhile.
They've been great. They've been great for me on that stuff too. Well,
Yeah.
I'll blame Allison on that though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's totally Allison's fault.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
Every,
ahead, Chuck.
everything is Allison's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marty, I just feel like I want to point out because I don't know what the comments were about, multiple Vision Pros on the same account, but and again, I sound like an insurance guy, but you wouldn't just buy insurance on one car and then have two cars,
Hmm.
or just on your car and then be able to apply it to two cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got to believe that Apple at some point will target it by a serial number, or just give you, say you have to set up a second account if you have that many devices.
Well, I
But
don't think you'd have to set up a second account. They just won't let you pair a second one into Apple Care One. They'd say, okay,
right,
that one you're going to pay $25 a month for with Apple Care Plus. The
right.
second one, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think this is a great way to get people more locked in a positive way to the Apple ecosystem.
Hmm.
Because if I'm buying devices from multiple manufacturers and all, and I have to buy the care programs or the extra warranties or whatever they happen to call them, versus just being able to put all under one and maybe getting a little discount on top of it. But more importantly, it's just all there. There's a lot of loss of friction that is perfect to get somebody logged in. So I really am looking forward to doing more research and finding out more about this.
You know, I think this will make it easier or with less friction for people to trade in devices. And I
Mhm.
think with everything going on, Apple wants to have more devices traded in
Mhm.
because it's less expensive to turn them around and resell them. Um, so I think it's great. Also, there was some mention about devices that you had that were up to 4 years old. You might be able to get added into Apple Care. That
Yeah.
was really kind of cool. And there
Mhm.
hasn't been an opportunity. There are a whole slew of people that missed oh, my device expired a month ago and I didn't notice until 2 months later, and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
Um, so
The the articles going into it said there are going to be some devices they're not going to add into it. They said that there are going to be some devices that are years old that can be added into it. Some of the new devices that you've bought in the last year probably will just be swapping over. Some of the older devices, they might want to do either some type of online check to make sure
Mhm.
that they're still functional, or bring them into an Apple store for a genius to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I have this MacBook Air I'm on right now. The warranty's still good until 2027. Do I want to really switch it? Because I already paid for it in full. So I have to balance to see what the value of that's going to be by me switching it. It may not be worth it because I already paid up front. Um, will they give me a refund for that? That's what I would like to know. If they
Yeah.
would, and then I would want to
Yeah.
calculate over the next couple of years, then yeah, that might be a good reason to do it. And I was going to also say that I just renewed my M1 MacBook Pro for a year, and I think I paid like $149 for it. Maybe that might be better off that get out of that, give me that money back, and then just put it on the 1999 until I'm ready to switch to a newer model. So
Marty,
that's the other reason too. So being able to be on a monthly plan and cancel it and not have to worry about getting these refunds too. But go ahead, John.
yeah. No, Marty, I want to ask you because you've done a lot more analysis than I have. But from what I see, I can't see anything that Apple's doing wrong here, or that,
Yeah.
that there's anything for anybody, even the staunchest critics, to complain about. Have I missed anything that you think that, well, it would be nice if they did this, did that, or could have done this, could have done that?
Well, again, it depends. It's going to still depend on the marketer, the consumer making decisions about it, because there are some products that they could own that put them if they bundle those three, it puts them sub to $20. So in that case, they're actually losing money by going into the bundle instead of keeping separate accounts. I saw one
Mhm.
comment on one of the articles on it where a person said it would be really nice if they just put a calculator on their website.
I was going to bring that up.
Because it would make it so much easier. I wound up doing to get my analysis of the cost, I basically used ChatGPT and then found some of the responses that they gave me wrong, because it was saying all iPads will go for this. This is what the monthly cost is.
Mm.
And the problem with it was, iPad Pros with an M4, completely different Apple Care costs than iPad Minis or other iPads. So I went product by product and that I had and got the costs that I was paying for. Frankly, it was easier to do that than it was to try and find the receipts.
Oh yeah,
Of what it is. Yeah.
but they should be able to look it up. So anyway,
Yeah.
any last more comments about this before we move on from this topic? This was a really good discussion.
Yeah, I think the Apple ID for all of the devices has to be the same. So
Yeah.
for people that have a family where each person in the family has a different Apple ID, then it doesn't quite work, even if they're on a family plan. So eventually, I would like it to be something where you can have a family plan and combine devices, but that doesn't look like that's available yet.
Yeah, it's not the case.
Yeah. So all right, that was a great discussion. Appreciate it. Let's move on to some of the news for this week. And iPhone. They've now let's talk about Chrome real quick. If those of you who use Google Chrome on your iPhone, the iPhone users now can easily swap between personal and work accounts in Chrome. Google this week updated its Chrome app for the iPhone and the iPad to have being able to add easier account switching for Chrome Enterprise. The functionality is designed for iOS users, but who need to swap between personal and managed work accounts. When a Chrome user switches from a personal account to a managed work account, using the added functionality, Chrome ensures that the data from the managed account stays separate. That means the browsing history and the bookmarks and all the other work-related tabs will stay there. It'll improve upon this as well. I have an account for In Touch with iOS that I use Google Workspace, and that's the same setup that most schools use. That's a good example to being able to keep your accounts separate. My wife does it too if she's a school teacher, and she has it on her personal Mac. That she has a separate account on her Mac, but you never were able to use this on the iPhone or the iPad. So, Eric, with you being in education, what do you think on this?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I don't use Chrome myself, but I
No.
definitely work with people who use it a lot, and
Yeah.
It's
I figured.
really the only way to work around the issue of not having everything kind of scrambled.
Yep. How about you, Marty? I don't know if the colleges probably don't use this as much, but what do you think?
Oh no, I mean colleges use Chrome. The other thing that because everybody's using Google Docs, and so Chrome it runs best on. And after the shaming I got on last week's show from Mike Potter, I have switched over to Firefox as much as I can. But yeah, the colleges still use it, and then K through 12 really uses it because one of the largest LMSs they use, learning management systems, is Google Classrooms. So all of that's integrated with Google, so the kids are Googling out early, and they're gathering really valuable information from 10-year-olds and selling it on the market.
The horrible thing is that's actually true.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeff?
Hey, isn't this great? Now Google can have in-depth knowledge about your personal web activity and business activity, and it's
Right.
easier for you.
They can tie it together. They can tie it
ti-
together.
yeah, they can
Yep.
absolutely tie it together. That said, there are a lot of people that have to do things with a business account versus a personal account, and it was a pain in the butt if you were doing that on your phone. So
Yep.
this was a necessary thing.
Yep. Chuck, anything you want to add?
Just that I'm surprised that, I mean, one of two things. I'm surprised other browsers haven't done this, and I feel like maybe they've been listening to a lot of the shows we all do, because I know I personally have one browser that I use for professional work, and then I use other browser or browsers for my personal stuff, and never the two shall meet if I can avoid it. And now, and I'm not about to, because for all the reasons Jeff just said and Jill just said, I'm not going to suddenly switch over and use two identities in Google or in Chrome, pardon me. But I really like the idea of being able to segregate that, and I've just done it, not exactly in analog fashion, but I've just used two separate browsers. So if
Okay.
you're a big fan of Chrome, and I know Jeff loves, the Workona plugin for Chrome, hey, great, go for it. If that's what you need to do. But this is a prediction, but I predict that there will be other browsers that'll be doing this, and maybe not for nefarious reasons, but just because it's going to become popular.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna have to
if you're
tell you
doing
the
it in
fire.
oh, sorry. If
Go
if
ahead,
you're
Jeff.
doing it in a desktop browser, uh, all the Chromium-based browsers make it
Mhm.
Right.
really easy to have multiple Google accounts, and then you can just jump between them. And
Right. Yep.
and if you want to get super crazy with it, you mentioned Workona. Um, I can have different tab groups in Workona
Mhm.
logged into different Google IDs
Oh.
Yep.
simultaneously.
You can,
Okay.
I found this out last week where Kona has a plugin for Firefox.
Oh
So I'm getting
yes,
all my work on it through Firefox right now.
And
yep.
and and Firefox does have profiles too, because I have a profile that I use my
Mhm.
main profile that syncs all my work bookmarks and all the settings.
Hmm.
And anytime I sign into any other computer that's mine, automatically syncs it over. And you can create multiple profiles. So, like you said, Jeff, the Chromium based browsers do as well. Edge is another good one. Microsoft.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
what I'm
have
actually using.
personal and
It's
business
yeah.
easily, because I use Edge for work, and they tend to don't. I tend to not want to put my personal account on my work computer. So, but if you have companies like, in the case, I guess of my wife, she works for a school district. They do allow it, so she can have her work profile and her personal profile. But since they're in the Google ecosystem, she's pretty much using Chrome. So, anybody else want anything? Where we move on? All right. Um, the other one to talk about here is BMW. They have confirmed have no plans to offer CarPlay Ultra. This was just announced today as we record this. Uh, they have confirmed that it will not support Apple's next generation CarPlay Ultra platforms in any of its upcoming vehicles. Uh, this is the first equivocal public rejection of CarPlay Ultra by BMW since the system's announcement. The automaker had previously issued a neutral position in 2022, saying that it was looking at a clear focus whether it was going to use it or not. As I sum it up, but BMW says they have no plans at all to do it. So could this be a trend with other car manufacturers? Jeff, what do you think on this?
When Apple announced CarPlay Ultra,
Mhm.
I uh I thought this looks so cool.
Mhm.
And at the same time I thought this is going to be a tough sell for car makers.
Yep.
And I predicted that for people that have more money than sense, there would be companies out there that will do aftermarket dashboards that have CarPlay Ultra built in, so you can do a very expensive swap out. Um, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me BMW is doing this, and I have a feeling that CarPlay Ultra is at this point going to be limited to a handful of luxury vehicles, and that's it.
Yep. Like Aston Martin, or what was it? I forgot the first one.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I forgot who it was, but uh, yeah. So I agree with that. Chuck, what do you think?
From what I remember of the article, BMW is going to use their own system. And
Okay.
so
Like
if we
GM.
go, yeah,
Mhm.
and so if we go back to some of our discussions before, you're going to have that inconsistency in the interface, but you also are going to have BMW apparently valuing the amount of data they can get from their customers, then valuing their customers.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of supposition there, but there's a lot of evidence also that they don't want to give that up, either as a marketing source or even a potential revenue source. So maybe I'm just being paranoid, and I freely admit that that's a possibility. But it just feels like with the popularity of CarPlay, why wouldn't you go with something that people clearly want?
Yeah.
But
Well, Chuck, if they do that, they're giving up the entire user experience and brand experience for the part of the car you focus on the most. And so I can see where some companies would want to have a tighter control over what that experience is, whether or not they're offering something that's as good as or better than what Apple can offer. But I think a lot of companies, regardless of the quality of their interface, see that as part of their brand and want to control that brand.
Jeff, I would agree with your thinking completely. I think it's a misstep on their part, though, because I
Oh, sure.
believe that there would be plenty of opportunities. The first one that pops to mind is that if you buy a BMW or something else and had CarPlay Plus, that well, we have the best speakers, or we have a lot better speakers in our vehicle, or we have more speakers in our vehicle. That you improve I guess the sensory experience as opposed to the interaction with interface experience.
Hmm.
So, and I also question, depending on which of these high-end models that we're talking about, as to whether because you're right, that's what you focus on. But on the other hand, are you buying a BMW or some of the other super expensive cars to look at the interface or enjoy the interface, or are you looking at it from the prestige standpoint and the engineering standpoint and the acceleration standpoint and the performance standpoint? I mean, I'm not sure that the interface of the vehicle is what you're buying this for.
You're
Right.
not buying it for the interface, but at the same time, the interface is part of that experience.
Perhaps. I
I
mean,
think,
I'll have to go out and check all my BMWs and see.
yeah,
Right?
I think BMW just sees the value in cornering the market on data that's generated from snobby elitists.
Hmm. You know, I got the Subaru that I bought about a year ago, and they have always had complaints about their interface of their touchpad, and they got complaints about it, and they started coming out with apps for it, and they quickly rolled that back. Like there was a birding app, and there was a bunch of apps, and they decided they don't want to be in the software business, which was smart. And I think that am hoping, that companies will go in and start putting the Ultra in. And I was talking about this with my friend, but is that going to be the next? Like we buy MacBooks and we buy iPhones, we buy this device and that device, and sometimes we need to do software. We buy, even though the hardware is good, we update because we want the newest software, which won't get it. Our car is going to become that. Where suddenly we go, oh, well, if I got the new Outback 2027, it would have Ultra in it. So it would be an option for these companies to maybe sell more cars because they want to be able to, get you on Ultra 3 and instead of just the hardware,
You know,
if they looked at it that way.
there's another way to think of this too, and that is that there's a difference between saying we're not going to go with CarPlay Ultra and
Mhm.
saying we're not going to go for CarPlay. So as
Right.
long as they still offer CarPlay,
Mhm.
for a lot of people, that's good enough. CarPlay Ultra can do a lot of customization, but hardly anyone has actually seen it in the wild. So saying they're not going to do it, maybe that just means we won't see it over the next 6 years. That doesn't mean never.
Right.
I think the real question is who still has CarPlay? And if you eliminate CarPlay, like certain companies, GM, um, that's a big deal, and
Yeah.
people have opinions about it. But if you still have CarPlay and just saying, yeah, we're not sure about Ultra, maybe that's different.
Yep. So it's definitely got to see where the rest of these car manufacturers go for this. That's definitely for sure. So all right, let's go ahead and move on here. One or two more stories here. T-Mobile's Starlink satellite service is officially launched with iPhone support. The satellite or the Starlink satellite service that T-Mobile had been testing for the last several months, I was testing it, is now out of beta, and it was announced yesterday as we record this. Satellite-based connectivity is available for T-Mobile subscribers, but it's also an option for Verizon and AT&T users. T-Mobile is offering users over 650 Starlink satellites to allow users to send and text messages when they're out of range of a cellular or Wi-Fi connection. T-Mobile says that the satellite service will work with more than 600 smartphones, including the iPhone. If you have an iPhone 14 or later, you can use T-Satellite. Though these devices already have Apple's built-in satellite functionality that works with the Globalstar satellites, you will need iOS 18.3 or later to sign up. T-Mobile satellite service is limited to texting with messages and SMS, and data is not supported. Apple's built-in satellite services support sending and receiving text messages, sharing location via Find My, and connecting to emergency services. So getting satellite-based weather updates and arranging roadside assistance via satellite, you have that available. Apple has not yet charged for any of those features. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be anything of worth it to add this if you already have back with Apple and not paying for it. But it is $10 a month using the manage add-ons function in your T-Mobile accounts. If AT&T and Verizon customers want to get T-Satellite for $10 a month, they have to contact T-Mobile customer support. Good luck with that, I think. But glad to see that that satellite services are progressing. Marty, what do you think on this?
Who wants to go anywhere where there's not cellular or Wi-Fi service?
Now
Uh,
there's that. Well,
that's
Joe can
that's
probably attest to
that's
that in a
my
minute.
that is my approach to life. And if you are there, this is great. You can email me the pictures. I'd love to see them. Yeah. I'm making life choices right now, and the life choices included cellular and Wi-Fi connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
go
you've
places.
probably been in places where you can't get service, right?
Many places. I go hiking and camping, and my brother and I took a trip to Iceland where we didn't have anything, and I think it's great. I'm because I don't really want to be on the internet full time, when I'm out in the North Woods and it's in the trees and the stars and all that. But I also am afraid that I'm going to fall off a mountain or a tree or something, and having that kind of safety
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah, I was in Warsaw, Wisconsin, and couldn't get service and was miserable. Um, so
Okay. What do you think, Chuck, on this?
I, you know, I think it's really, really important for safety and security because whether I'm kind of in Marty's camp a bit, but I also know that there are times that you end up in places and situations that you don't expect and you don't realize there's no service. And
Right.
if an emergency occurs in one of those, I'd rather have the service, even if it's a premium service or you know or whatever hoops I need to jump through. So yeah, and the other thing too is this is the way that the world is going. I mean, pretty soon you're never going to be able to be out of touch unless you just really, really actively want to, or take yourself off.
Yeah.
Because there are too many crazy people that do stupid things, and then they want themselves to be rescued.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Jeff, you have thoughts.
I do have thoughts. I think including iPhone support in this package is more of a marketing move, because if you have an iPhone that supports the satellite communication, you already have the feature.
Mhm.
Right.
So this is something that's out there for the Android users, and I suspect that there are families where they have a bunch of Android users and then like one or two iPhone users, and they want to get the thing for everyone, but they don't want their iPhone users to be left out because they don't
Mhm.
understand,
Right.
and so they end up paying for service they don't really need. So then it's just like gravy money for T-Mobile. Um,
Right.
that said, uh, offering this so that Android users have something that they can take advantage of. Okay, great. Um, but yeah, I don't see why any iPhone user would want to buy into this or would feel the need to buy into it without being coerced with inaccurate information.
Eric, we'll wrap up with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just curious about how well this works in like heavy tree cover areas. Yeah, if there are places where you can't get line of sight to a satellite for the Apple system, but maybe you could get this one to work. And then my only regret really is if you talk about all of this as a feature and on all the iPhones that support it, it's just there. How many times are people assuming they have it, but they didn't actually sign up for it and then are in the middle of
Yes.
nowhere expecting it?
Right.
My experience with being up in the North Woods is that it works great with trees. It works great in but it works better than like XM radio, where it cuts in and out. It's much better than that. But I was in a very bluffy area of Minnesota, and when we were in the midst of it, it was not there. So the bluffs
Okay.
killed it off.
And one thing it'll be interesting to see how they handle AT&T and Verizon customers, because they have to contact T-Mobile to get it. Whether they can have a separate bill with T-Mobile just to pay $10 a month for it.
Sure.
I'd be curious to see where that goes. I mean, as long as you have an iPhone, you've got the SOS feature already. So it'll be definitely interesting to see where this goes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I missed it.
line
I
of
was
sight
just-
through
Oh,
line
go
of
ahead.
sight through trees is not a problem in my universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But did this offer more than what Apple offers for free? I mean, with Apple,
offers
it's
less.
texting. It
It's
offers
less.
less.
Less, yeah,
Okay.
actually. Because I mean, that Apple's is free, but you gotta figure Apple's going to charge for it eventually. You would think.
Right.
So far
Yeah.
they haven't. So we'll see where it goes.
They love the
All
life-saving
right.
stories.
Yes. All right. Well, that was a great show for this week. But before we wrap up, I'm going to still continue to talk about Macstock. We all miss Macstock, and already it's been, I can't believe it, 2 weeks already, almost as we record this, and we're missing each other already. But you still can relive what happened as we wrapped up the 2025. Attendees who attended are going to receive a link for the session recordings when they're ready. Mike Potter said that there'll be about 30 to 45 days or so. Hopefully, we'll get to see them soon. I'll be looking forward to that. But if you missed Macstock, we didn't miss you. Well, why not purchase a digital pass? You can relive all the amazing presentations. There's going to be a link in the show notes so you can click and purchase this digital pass. Macstock 10 has already been announced. It's going to be July 10th, 11th, and 12th of 2026. So I hope you can join us there, but just click a link in the show notes. The Macstock 9 digital pass. It's not that expensive. You'll get 3 full days of great content from all of us. Most of us that were there. I think, no, all of us were there. What am I talking about? Everybody on this panel. And almost all of us spoke. 4 of us 6 did speak. So please come check us out. Check out that digital pass and support Macstock, and come grab that because he'll have that ready. You can pre-purchase it right now. Just go to the website. It's macstockconferenceandexpo.com, but use that link in the show notes. It brings you right to that link. So it'd be great. It'd be great here. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon, both at In Touch with iOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe when you're notified when we are live streaming, which is Thursday nights, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're a little late today, but I had a good reason. But it's at our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the current and past live streams as well as listen to past shows. Thanks for Guide making it to the live chat this week, as well as Witherbucket and Brian. I saw, and there was a lot of others in the chat. We really appreciate you joining us live because it's a lot of fun and you get to interact with us. And Web Bixby made it under the wire here too. Glad you were able to make it as well. So thank you for that. And you also can go to our page on Flipboard, which is the link is in the show notes. That's where we actually I push all the articles that we talk about this week. That link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, which includes Pocket Cast, Overcast, Apple Podcast, but many others. But better yet, go to our website, which is intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Blue Sky and Mastodon. I'm at DaveG65, and we're going to reverse the order here this time around. So, Eric Bolden, thank you for being here in your persona. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. And where can people find you?
I can be found at EA Bolden at mas.to on Mastodon. Otherwise, Mondays on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices, and of course Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS. So I cover all of my
Yes, you
OSs
do.
throughout the week.
Yes, you do. Thanks for being here. Marty Gensius, thank you for being here. And where can people find you?
It's always important that you cover your OSs. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we do a live stream of Vision Profiles with Eric, Dave, and Daniel on occasion. Tuesdays with Chuck on In Touch or on Mac Voices. Other projects I do, you can find thepodtalk.net, other different podcasts and other streams that I do. And then, of course, Thursday here with In Touch with iOS, and glad to be with this group. It's
Yes.
always kind of a good end of the week thing for me. So thanks for
I'm
having
happy
me
to-
be a part of that. And it's so great to see
Yes,
my friends here.
me too. All right. And Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure having you back here, and you made it this week. And where can people find you?
MacVoices.com. That's where you'll find everything I'm doing. We do the live show, as was mentioned, on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. And on all of the socials, you can find me as at Chuck Joyner, or almost all of the socials. There's still some that I'm not actually on.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Jill McKinley, I'm so excited that you're going to be a regular contributor here. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, I didn't say I'd contribute. I said I'd be regular. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Besides this, you can find me. I have 4 podcasts and 3 YouTube channels. Jill from the North Woods. A website is coming soon that I'll have it because I'm just embarrassed to keep answering this question and not have a good answer for it. But you can find me with startwithsmallsteps.com, Start with Small Steps podcast, and on YouTube as well. And then they have links to everything else there.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet. I'm glad you're able to make it this week. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
I'm glad it worked out too. I'm happy to be here. And Jill, I'm so excited that you're just part of the team now.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's super cool. I feel like the IQ shot up a few notches because you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. You
I
know,
hope
so no
so.
pressure.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. So where can people find me? Jay Gamet on social media, pretty much everywhere. Active right now on Mastodon and PixelFed and Blue Sky. Then for shows, Tuesdays on Chuck's Mac Voices Live, here on Thursdays for Dave's In Touch with iOS. Thursdays and Fridays on the British Tech Network for the Big Show and the Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate it. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. So glad to see everybody in the chat room and on YouTube. And we'll be back next week. I'll be back in my normal spot after my little vacation this week. But until then, thanks again, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much. Nicely done.
Thank you, Dave. That was good.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, just
Yes, sir.
full disclosure. The whole Mac stock announcement,
Mhm.
part of the wording was really bothering me, so I edited it for
Thank you.
you.
I'll be right back.
That's why I have you.
I have to put the bird to bed.
Okay, good. Because
Oh,
I had just
appreciate-
scrolled down to the end and I started reading.
was in
and I'm
I
like,
was in a rush typing it because I didn't know when I did it, just to make sure.
well, it's fixed.
I'll put it in my template so it's that way every moving forward. Thank you very much. It was great to see everybody in the chat this week. It was so busy.
Yeah.
And that was good
Yeah,
to see everybody.
that's nice.
So
Yeah.
But we will say goodbye to the chat this week. Thank you so
Good.
much for being here.
Good night, chat.
Goodbye.